right, so if we're doing our pop art donuts and you don't have a square piece of paper, I'm going to show you a few steps on how to make your paper square so that you can do this a little bit easier, than if you had just, a straight up square piece of paper. However, I do recommend, if you can, go to like a art craft store or a paper supply store or anything like that and get, like a 12 by 12 or an 8 by 8 sheet of like scrapbook type paper. That would make this a lot easier for you. However, we're going to follow these steps and that'll show you how to take your rectangular shaped piece of paper and turn it into a square piece of paper. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to measure the width, the narrowest width of your paper. So for me, that's this width right here, this section. Okay, so that's going to tell me the widest I can make my square. And looks like it is right below the 7-inch mark. Okay, so just gonna make a little mark for myself. And then I am going to measure. My ruler was hitting my mouth. I'm going to measure the same distance over here. Okay, so it hits right about here. Do the same thing here. Okay, so obviously this would be a lot easier if my paper was like an even, like 8 inches or something like that. However, we're going to make it work because you may have the same situation where you don't have paper that's like a perfect, measurement. Okay, so now I've got my little marks here. I'm going to line up my ruler. All right, so I've got my line here. Then what I can do is just cut that. So I can just take some scissors and I can cut that excess paper off, and then I'll be good to go. I'll have a square piece of paper. So I'm gonna cut this real quick. And now I have a square piece of paper, okay? So once I have my square piece of paper, I'm good to begin and to start my project. All right, so the first step for this project is I'm going to divide it into 4 squares. So for that, I need to take my ruler. I need to figure out what the halfway point is. And the same thing on the other side. Okay. And then line those up. Across, line it up the other way. And now I have my paper divided into 4 squares. So the goal for this is to make sure we have it divided into 4 squares. That is that first step. And then what we're going to do is draw our donuts in these 4 squares. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So my donuts are going to be different in each square. They're going to be at different angles. So one square may be more of like an above type of a view, the other one may be a little more sideways, and that's fine. So just have fun with it. Do like, like drippy kind of like glaze or frosting on your donuts, all that fun stuff, sprinkles, any of those things. So I'm going to go ahead and remember, donuts are not, a perfect circle. They're baked good. They're uneven. Right. I'm going to do a little bit of an edge there. That's going to be like a frosting and a little bit of donut showing. Okay, so I've got like some drippy kind of stuff going on there. All right, so when I've finished my donuts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline my main lines in ink. So I'm going to do that so that my donuts stay in place. I am not going to do these dividing lines, okay? I'll erase those. But I am going to outline my donut in an ink pen. If you are using paint or, something like that, you're going to want to use an ink that won't run. However, if you're using a different type of medium to color your donuts, then you could use just any type of ink. It wouldn't matter. But if you are using paint like I'm going to be using, which is the recommended medium, you're going to want like a Sharpie or some type of an ink that won't run when it gets wet. All right, so now what I'm going to do is real quick with a thinner pen, I'm going to go in and do some sprinkles on a few of these. However, if you don't have a thin pen, you don't have to do this step. You can just wait and do it with paint. But I'm not putting sprinkles on all of them, but I am on a few of them. So I'm just going to go in and do like some little sprinkle designs, which I'll then paint later. All right, so when I finish doing that, I'm going to erase all my pencil marks once all my ink is dry, and then I will be ready to start adding my color and other designs to my pop art donuts. All right, as you can see, I even erased these lines. I left them very, very faint. Because I want them as a guideline when I add my background paint to these sections, which will be the first step that I will do. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my background paint and designs to each four of the sections. You can do some type of a design, or you can do a solid color. With pop art, you want to make sure your colors are vivid and bold. You don't want them to be kind of washed out like some of the other art that we've done, where maybe it's a little more muted. We want these colors to be bold and vivid and just kind of like fun, in your face neon colors are even fine to do for this. So if you've got like some neon colors you've been wanting to use, this would be the perfect time to use those. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to get my paints. I'm going to paint in the background for each of the 4 sections. Remember to do it 4 different colors. So we want these sections to be different. We don't want them to be the same. And we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Alright, so once I finished my background, now I'm ready to start decorating my donuts. So I'm going to be painting my donuts and adding color where I see fit, and then we'll be done with this project. I hope you enjoyed this. All right, so with that, we are finished with our pop art donuts. Make sure you take a picture, take a selfie with your work of art. So, hold your work of art up, take a selfie with it, and then turn in those 2 photos and you'll be done with this project. I hope you enjoyed this demo on pop art donuts, and I'll see you next time on Art with Mrs. Cat. Bye.